Alright, since a lot of people keep DMing me asking how I use Notion to collect trading data, this is here goes. So I have the name, which would be the ticker, and then the date that the setup occurred, the type of setup, so 10-minute ADMA for example, gap and go, dip and rip, pre-market retest, daily setup. I don't have pre-market high and pre-market low separated because it's basically the same, to be honest. So I just group them in one section. And then the daily setup, it'll be the type of daily setup there is. Normal outside days is if it's a normal outside day. Gaps down or above, or gets below. And then the trend line breaks, that would be like if there's a trend line on the daily setup and then it breaks the daily trend line. Yeah, so that's basically the daily setups. Market alignment, if the market is aligned at the time of entry, then I put aligned. If it's just choppy, then I put mixed. If it's against it, then I'll put against. But market alignment has to be at the time of entry, like what it looks like at the time of entry when you're gonna enter. Because hindsight's always 20/20, but you want to find how it looks in real time. And then LE confluence, that's how many confluences there are, like if it's an ADMA tap with a pre-market high tap. So like for example on this one, Intel 10-minute ADMA and pre-market retest. So there's the 10-minute ADMA right there. Your entry would be once it starts bouncing off of that and pre-market low, and then yeah, and then collect the entire setup once the day's done. And then after that, let's say we go over here, get the 10-minute ADMA tap on this setup. So what you'd do, you'd go into trading view, put your entry point, your stop loss. My stop loss would be the bottom of the candle, and then take the take profit and put it to the highest point, and then the other exits that you want to test out and see what the RR is for those. So like let's say right here, no sorry, wrong one, on this one, entry right there, stop loss at the bottom, and then take profit all the way at the top. The MFE would be 8.6R, which is the highest point of the trade. And then the 10-minute ADMA loss would be right here. So I'd move the take profit to the ADMA loss, and then that would be the RR for that exit. And then the same thing for the 3-minute gap and goes, whatever. Like if the gap and go entry is right off open, right on pre-market low break, then the MFE would be like right here before the trade gets invalidated. And the stop would be at the top of the candle. That's why the RR is so good on this one, but yeah. And then, so I collect all that. CBC, I also collect the data for CBC too. CBC isn't really that good, to be honest, compared to the average ADMA losses. It's like half an EV. And then the outcome of the trade, win, loss, break even. Time bucket, when the trade takes place. Most of the setups that I like to trade are right off open anyways, but I'll still collect data from later in the day because I do trade those setups sometimes. And then the time frame, that's a time frame that that you would take the trade on. Like here, pre-market retest, you'd want to take it on the 5-minute because the 5-minute is goated for pre-market high retests, or pre-market retests in general. So there would be your entry once it starts bouncing off, put your stop below the pre-market high, and then bring your take profit to the top, see what the RR is for that, for the maximum favorable excursion, and then yeah, you get it. And then revisit these are failed breakouts, or like anything that I want to revisit once I'm done collecting all this data. I want to revisit failed breakouts, because when there's a super good daily setup but there's a failed breakout like this, the moves are always really, really big, so I want to revisit that and learn how to trade those to the downside. But that's not going to be for a bit. And then the notes, these are just little nuances that I want to keep track of, just to have it, you know. But yeah, then you can also filter. So like, let's say I want to filter only trendline breaks. It'll give me all the trendline break daily setups. If I want the gap and go setups and trendline breaks, it'll only give me those. If I only want the gap and go setups, it'll give me all of those. If I want gap and go and 10-minute ADMA, it'll give me those. But yeah, you can filter all this stuff out. Market alignment, if it's aligned, you can see the win rate for when the market's aligned with these types of setups. Yeah. Yep, that's all I got. So and then I have these two, but I haven't really used that a whole lot. That'll actually be really nice. I forgot I had that, to be honest. But yeah, that's what I use, and I hope this helps.